So my name is Markus. I'm 41 years old. I have a wife named Jennifer. We have two kids, Bronson and Azalea. We officially took over our farm here in the fall of 2018. Previously, it was a three-way partnership between my parents and I, my father Klaus, my mother Ursula. Yeah, so we took the farm over officially in 2018. We've kind of been expanding and diversifying at the same time. When we took the farm over, we were mostly focused on beef production and sheep. So we were doing cow-calf on the beef side of things, and we were finishing most, or if not all, of our lambs on the farm. Now in 2022, we've got a pretty significant presence at the North Bay Farmers Market. So what we've done in those 4 years, 3.5-4 years, is that we've launched a farm website. We actually produce pork, chicken, and turkey now, along with the beef and the lamb that we produce. And actually, with the pandemic, when it hit, we really ramped up our meat production because there seemed to be quite the market for it. And so now we finish not all of our cattle, but we finish a good number of them, and we market those through our own channels here at the farm gate or through the farmers market. And the lamb marketing, a lot of those lambs still go go to live auction markets here in Ontario, or they'll go directly to slaughter. So that side of the farm business has stayed pretty much the same. We do sell a bit more lamb locally, but that is the the big commodity, I guess, part of our farm business. Whereas the beef, chicken, pork, and turkey, they're more of a niche market now for us. Oh gosh, there's lots of challenges for sure. For our farm business, the biggest challenge I would say that we've been facing here, pretty much every year, is our access to qualified labor for the farm, but at the same time staying within that price range of finding labor that can work here on the farm. We're usually stuck with having to hire summer students, and it's good on the price side of things. Like the hourly wage is good there, but most of the time we're dealing with people that they don't have much background or any background in agriculture. They're very green when it comes to any of the labor that's required on the farm. They can't operate equipment. And in the past, when we have had some summer students that have come back to us year after year, that's worked out well, but that's only really happened to us a few years. So that's probably our biggest ongoing challenge is trying to fill that labor void that we have, so that we're not pushing ourselves to the brink in terms of getting things done and getting everything else done in a timely manner. And this year specifically, a lot of our input costs, fuel costs, fertilizer, those prices are just through the roof, and that's our biggest right now. It's a short-term challenge, but and hopefully it's not a long-term challenge in terms of those input costs. But the labor component is the biggest ongoing issue that we have. It comes from several different sources. As a fairly large flock here in Ontario, we're part of the Ontario Large Flock Operators, and ever since we started producing lamb, we've been part of that. Or within the first few years, anyways, of producing lamb, we were part of that group, and that's a pretty forward-thinking group, and a lot of outside the box thinking. So in terms of the the production side of things, a lot of ideas have come from there, and some of the tours that the LFO, the Large Flock Operators, go on, and just speaking with and networking with a lot of the producers in that LFO group. I've been part of some other farm tours where we've toured beef operations, all sorts of tours really, and we pull a lot of ideas from there. The last few years, I've been quite busy on the farm, so I really don't have time to get away for 2 or 3 days in one block and go on tours. So nowadays it's more getting some ideas off of social media. I follow a lot of, I think, forward thinking and, those innovative type farmers on Twitter specifically. And there's lots of great ideas that pop up there. Even Facebook, there's some great stuff there. And I know my wife, she's on, I believe it is Instagram and a couple other social networks, and she gets some pretty good ideas there. And she looks a lot. She looks after most of the farmers market type thing and dealing with customers directly. So she kind of looks for ideas on that side of things, and I look for ideas on on the production side. Day-to-day activities, I guess it depends on the time of year. We're starting to do a bit more cropping. Typically in the past and traditionally we've focused on perennial forages, pardon me, and involving just hay production for stored feeds and pasture production. We've done some land tiling here in the last couple of years, and so we're rejuvenating a lot of those fields. So in that process, we're doing a bit of cropping now, and we have front hitches and PTOs installed on our tractors that we can make better use of. One pass across the field, we can do a bit more work, I guess, in that one pass by using the front and rear hitches. Or harvesting hay. We have a front mount mower as well for those tractors. So we're able to do those types of jobs in a pretty efficient manner because of the labor issues that we have. It allows me to do more in the same amount of time. And dealing with working with the livestock, especially on the sheep side of things, we've got some pretty innovative handling system ideas, and our shearing deck that we have for our sheep. It's pretty ergonomic and really easy for shearers to use, for the people to handle wool properly. And even things with our handling facility, we have a raised chute, a working chute that we can raise and lower depending on the size of the animal that we're dealing with, so we're not bending over all day trying to, for instance, vaccinate or deworm sheep. Day to day, there isn't really that much, but certainly times of the year or certain jobs, we have some pretty useful things that we've employed here on the farm to make life easier and make things go a bit quicker. On the livestock side of things, again, like on the production side, I'd like to see more research done in terms of how how to make like a production system like ours, where we pasture our cattle and sheep alternating on fields to deal with parasite issues, for example. Like some more research there. If there's ways that we can optimize that integration of cattle and sheep, just things like that on the production side of things. Again, we're not big on cropping or anything along those lines with a lot of equipment use, but there might be some avenues there in terms of equipment use, and especially now with the way fuel is. If there's things that we can do as producers in general to reduce that fuel consumption and keep our costs down. But for us, the main focus would be anything that we could do in terms of producing or improving the livestock component of the operation. I think the best and the quickest way of employing those types of ideas or knowledge or innovations, I think that would come with, and I'll use the LFO again as an example, because that group tends to be very forward thinking, and I want to say that I'm sure there's other groups in the beef sector, dairy sector that function the same way. There's that core group that kind of are on the leading edge of whatever industry they're in. I think that's the best and most efficient way to get knowledge out there is through those channels, through those groups. Because those are the types of producers that will tend to try those ideas, and they've got enough of that outside the box thinking that they can maybe tweak some things as they go. But I think that'd be the best avenue for sure is to to I guess partner with those types of producers or those groups to get that knowledge, to get those innovations out there and into practice. I think the biggest thing is that they always need to come back and think about how things are in commercial production setting, like, and for lack of a better term, how things are in the real world. Having a university education myself, like there's a lot of things that work on paper, but as soon as you get out in the real world, there's so many factors that that influence how, you know, certain things will go, and it won't be textbook. It won't be how you planned on it happening. So it's just always, I guess, giving that little you know, your a self check back to you know what you're trying to do in the end, but that you need to keep that that real life setting in mind, and to make sure it works there too.